Gold. Melanie Curtis. You're above me right now, so I don't know when you go to do this. There's also like, look, I'm in the light. I'm out of the light. I'm in the light. I'm out of the light. I'm going to try to stay out of the light because it gets a little bright if I'm in the light.
Yeah. It's funny when I point to you like this, I'm pointing to you the way I see you. I'm pointing to you, but I know that you're over here when the recording comes through. It's so weird.
For me, I'm down. I'm like down here. You're up there. So, you know.
I always like to do like the gallery as opposed to the speaker view.
Oh, yeah, I don't like the speaker view. Ooh, I
that
did that once and I was like, oh, stay put.
So the worst. This is for Zoom for anybody who
hasn't had the pleasure what the heck we're talking about. It's Zoom.
It's still the best software in my experience still. So
the quality. I just did a Skype call actually right before this and the quality sucked.
So lame.
Yeah. Zoom is much, much better.
Cool. So today we are talking about getting through or navigating classic holiday stresses. And it's funny because I'm relatively unprepared for this. And I say relatively, and I mean, I'm actually totally unprepared.
By relatively, I mean completely.
Other than
by all possible relative perspectives.
Other than having thought about like, oh yeah, holiday stresses. I did a video like 2 years ago on this, and I saw you did a Facebook Live on it the other day, and I'm like, that's a great topic. So that's actually the first thing I would bring up as a holiday stress, is this feeling that we don't have enough time to get all of our shopping done, or our this or our that, like, or prepare for the party and have to do this, which is more than our regular lives. So first I would validate people in that case. I would be like, it's totally understandable that you would feel stretched beyond your normal workload and commitments and feeling of responsibility in the holidays. It totally makes sense. And so it's also okay to show up and bring your love and your light and your genuine positivity to what you're doing, even if you fail and don't get the right present or don't get a present in time or whatever. I'm using presents as an example because whatever, but like, that's how I feel about right now. Like I'm okay, even though I'm unprepared for this. It's okay.
Yeah.
No one's going to die.
Gentle with ourselves.
Yeah.
And also too, it's like, there's a lot of extra work and like our normal routine is kind of shot to hell. Right?
Totally.
Which for all of us is like destabilizing. We're creatures of habit and routine. And you've got all these extra obligations, things that you have to be at, remember. It's hard. Like it's tricky. But that's cool because we're getting out of our comfort zone, which makes us that much more awesome. It actually gears us up to have an awesome new year because we just had all of this extra responsibility and craziness. And then it's the new year. And then it's like, all right, now where am I going to use all that extra skill and extra power that I just tapped into to manifest awesomeness?
I love it. It's also more fun. Getting out of our typical routines is by definition, new and different and fun. It's just like so awesome. I can't wait to go see the tree in New York City. I haven't gone to see it yet. And I love it. And the Macy's thing. Oh,
there's all the positivity. I mean, there's so much hope. I mean, look, and also holding space for people that don't love the holidays, right?
Totally.
Because I know a lot of people have a lot of negative memories and trauma, associated disappointments, pain points around the holidays. So while I readily admit that I freaking love the holidays and I'm like blasting the carols, I know that a lot of people don't feel that way, and that's legit, and holding space for that too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's also legit if you are someone who doesn't love the holidays, that it can make you feel excluded from something, because a lot of people love the holidays. So if you don't, you're like kind of just, it's this feeling of exclusion, which obviously we do not roll with exclusionary vibes of any kind. Obviously we choose, and that's the thing about holding space for people who don't love the holidays. It's like, I can love them and you cannot love them. And I can love you just as much as anyone else who loves them or doesn't love them. So it's like, my hope would be that nobody feels excluded in any way just because there's certain celebrations going on by other people or any mass of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. And then, I don't know if we've actually talked about beginner's mind, and we must have, that like we all have this opportunity to have this openness and this beginner's mind, that like, just because we've always hated the holidays doesn't necessarily mean that this year is going to be awful, right? Like that kind of openness to be like, okay, maybe I don't really like Christmas carols, and I don't really like, decorating the house, and I don't really like all of that Christmassy or holiday kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we all have this opportunity to be like, all right, so this isn't my favorite thing. I'm going to kind of put that preference a little bit to the side and still show up.
Yeah.
Right? Still show up.
Yep.
And just be open to it maybe being not quite as bad this year as maybe in years past. What's your experience?
Absolutely. And it's like that, bringing that idea of presence and stripping away an experience from the old meaning that we have brought to it. Like if a person looks at, say, a Christmas tree and is like turned off by the idea of Christmas, religious or whatever part of the holiday they're not into, they could instead look at the twinkle of the light and say, that is just really pretty. Have it be devoid of any meaning around a holiday, but really more look at it more simplistically or in detail and appreciate that type of thing that doesn't have a charged meaning around it. To sort of let ourselves enjoy an experience in a new way that has that, again, I say that, but just doesn't have that meaning attached that causes us our emotional charge.
Yeah. Yeah. Just holding space for that. I mean, that's something that we all have the power to do. And that's one of those, I actually learned a lot about this in yoga, because it's like all the second chakra stuff, like what we like and what we don't like, what we prefer and what we don't prefer. And then of course life gives us whatever it gives us, like regardless of what we prefer or don't prefer. Like, like the holidays are happening. The holidays, they're happening. Like you're going to be inundated by this crap over the next couple of weeks. So, can you set aside kind of, you'd prefer that it wasn't the holidays. You'd prefer that people didn't go through all this, nuttiness. And here it is. So can you radically accept it and then just find the positives through it? Make lemonade out of the lemons.
Yeah, it's a practice.
Holiday lemonade.
It's a practicing of a skill, of extracting the positive value in any scenario. I frame things in skills so often because it implies that we all can achieve it.
It's a power.
We are not victimized by any situation. It's merely an opportunity to practice a skill, period. That's how I think of it.
Yeah, totally.
So that's really cool. What about the classic holiday stress of interacting with our families?
Sure. So, I mean, we all have a wide spectrum of people in our families.
Yeah.
Some of whom can be really hard to be around. It can be really triggering to be around certain family members over the holidays, because some family members aren't particularly skillful, right? Like they're not as skillful around being respectful or considerate or positive or, good communicators and all the things that we all, of course, are dedicated to being. And we have family members that aren't as skillful. And that can really, really, really rub us the wrong way or zap us of our positivity if we allow it. And again, as a skill, I believe we all have the power to practice keeping ourselves centered, keeping ourselves empowered in those interactions. So I actually recorded a video over the holidays for Thanksgiving, but just the first thing is to breathe, right? Like that's remembering to breathe, remembering to be grateful, because staying in a place of gratitude will absolutely empower you to handle more than you would if you were complaining, right? Accepting that they are who they are, not taking it personally when they are how they are, that even if they're trying to make it about you, it never really is about you. That openness and curiosity around that. And then if all else fails, then just protect your space. Like maybe go for a walk, go hide in the closet, get out of there. But if you start to feel yourself losing the skillfulness around your distress tolerance and your emotional regulation, create space for yourself, because you're human.
Yeah.
And when it's go time is go time.
That's an amazing list. It's absolutely 100% on point. And what's cool is that that's applicable to any social interaction, any interaction with any human in any scenario, holidays or otherwise. It's like, it's huge. I tend to rest in just what works for me really well is resting in my appreciation and fascination of human beings, period. Like that really helps me be over here, but also like safe in my own emotional place, like not taking things personally, as you said, if something weird were to happen, or I did witness a difference that felt like a judgment on me or my choice or whatever, anything, that it allows me to be in love for anyone. And I really mean it. Like I've said it many times, but I am fascinated by people. I just am. I'm like, it's just like everyone is interesting to me. And so that really helps me stay detached from any meaning I might make about a person's behavior on myself. And also when it comes to family, just like really practicing and loving the individuals that my family is comprised of. And this is just my experience, but really loving them for exactly who they are. So that really is how I tend to roll, because we're all different. You know, how boring would life be if we were all the same? Oof. Oof.
Indeed, it's like flowers in a garden.
Yeah.
It'd be really boring if they all looked exactly the same.
People are like, fuck you, Mel. I don't want to feel triggered. I want people.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, there's especially, I mean, I don't know about you, but like political stuff is really tricky with my family.
Yeah.
And like, that's the kind of thing that like, it can get really heated fast, like really heated fast. Yeah. And like remembering to breathe, remembering to find space, because like things that are deeply painful can happen, can be said. And it's real. Like when you get triggered by someone, like that's real, and you need to hold space for that and love that. Like love yourself. Like if you get angry,
totally
love that you're angry, and don't act out of the anger, right? Like the other tip was think before you speak. So like before like you go to say something, there's that acronym, like, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? And then like, is it the right time? Right.
Yeah.
Just before you say something, take that breath and go through, is it really necessary for me to say this right now?
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, it is. Like, no. It's not the right time. Not the right time.
Yelling.
Not the right time. Not the right time.
Yeah. It's funny. One of my, sorry.
It's okay.
One of my, what was I going to, talking about the idea of bringing perfectionism into the holidays, and like how we have to, I feel like I've heard this a lot from clients and stuff, how that pressure to put on the perfect holiday or have the perfect meal or the whatever perfect presentation, that type of stuff, how that pressure can really steal happiness from people during the holidays. That I always say perfect is totally boring. I go back to also it's the thought that counts. Like it sounds super cliche, but I really believe it. It is the thought that counts. Not that is a loophole to being lazy in our responsibility, but we're not talking about responsibility here. We're talking about something that we're creating in a positive spirit. So that is an addition and a positive addition to our lives. So in that case, it is the thought that counts. However that turkey turns out, however the place settings or the napkin holders go, it's all good. You know, like that's sort of and being able to really just go back to that presence piece and enjoy every little bit of it and have fun and laugh in those moments where things, go wrong.
Yeah. Keeping that sense of humor in the face of the imperfections, as we know, is a really, really powerful skill. Yeah. And just kind of keep your finger on the pulse of all the not good enough shit that your brain is spewing around, because all that perfectionism is the whole, like, am I good enough? Am I good enough?
Yeah.
So focus on feeling good enough from the inside out. And then however the turkey turns out, as you say, it's all good. You can always order in. Worst case scenario, you can always order in.
And we never get good stories when things go right. The best stories in life are when something goes wrong and there's some, comical tale that we then get from those experiences. So I would say worst case, you're getting a good story, and that's a good thing. Yep. So Well, right on, my friend. Anything else?
All love and holiday cheer.
Yeah.
Yay.
I love it. Love you all. Happy holidays.
Happy
However
holidays.
you celebrate or don't celebrate, love and light from us.
And laughter. Lots of
yes,
laughter.
Always.
Bye.
Bye.